開幕だ。
さあ来い。
加速する
世
ぞ。
界を熱狂の渦に。
火炎を刻め。
大罰となるがいい。
せほっほっ
やるではないか。アクセル全開。
よっ
わけ山の地。
光り輝くがいい。ほっそれ
やっ
光よ。よっ
どよめく神学。火炎を刻め。
ほっ世界を熱狂の渦に。
太陽の方向を。それ響け。悪の根。
開幕だ。
いや
よっ歌え僕の名のもとに。そら
どよめく神学。火炎を刻め。
じゃあ行くよ。
水の味は実に幽怨な趣を持つ。モンドの水は清く澄んでいて、リーウェの水は後味が長く続く。稲妻の水は深みがあり、スメールの水は複雑で、じっくりと舌で味わう必要があるのだ。
低温調理。 界に沈め変わろう突然に甘いものを低温調理よっガンのように
風をし
静かに守ろう
静粛に
雲がく
よっ
借りなく時風の行く先を
せいとった宴会に沈め無に着せ
大松となるがいい。
ふっさせいよっじゃあ最高の一品よふんかはっはっと食前に甘いものを
騒ぐな。
風の赴くままに
Yep, just 2 more hours to go. So I'm definitely going to be on later today to play that.
低温調理準備
You don't need to save, you just gotta spend money. Problem solved.
せいはっはっふんふんやあ食前に甘いものをやあふんふんふん
お道は
Oh my fucking god, that is such fucking dog shit. Getting fucking juggled. For some reason I didn't get any energy, I don't know why. Like, I started with 0 energy. This build is like really shit. Like, this guy is absolutely fucking terrible. He took Kazuha, runs away, then swaps, then runs back in. Like, why? Okay, let's see what everybody left. I mean, the whole point is to do a freeze team, and the dude was like, oh, like, but the 4th person left, so I was like, oh, okay, so he now has stuck with 2 people. He wanted to do Nouvellette. I'm like, okay, fine. But, like, then swap your second character. It's like, we need a freeze team. And so after being told you need a freeze team, his first reaction was, I know, I'll bring in Kazuha. I mean, that should be enough. Oh wow, this team should be good. If I can be a Scuffier and... Yeah, I'm really curious how they're going to, where's Scuffier?
これが旅人さんの普段の暮らしですか
I'm really curious how they're going to bring, the limited event thing together. Like, how are they going to introduce Saber and... What the fuck are these guys doing? Not loaded in or something? I'm curious how they're going to bring in Saber and Archer. Like, is there going to be, like, a story for them? Is that what it's going to be? Or... And then, of course, you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happened to Finon. It's, you know, it's been... The story has been super interesting, so... The story has been super interesting, you know... We're probably going to learn a little bit more about the world, and what the world really is. Like, obviously, it feels like it's just a simulation, and that, that dude is basically there just to, that, like, robot dude is, like, the manager of it, and... Seems like that's how it is, but... Obviously, it's, you know, hard to tell. So I'm really curious how it'll actually shake out. And what Herta actually does. Oh, is that it? Was I fucking up because I wasn't doing my because I wasn't doing my burst or my skill. Oh fucking god, dude! The AOE on this is so fucking annoying. But yeah, so I'm really gonna be curious with the story. I think it'll be pretty fun, and I'm curious to see what the whatever like. There's gonna have to be some sort of like collaboration. Fuck. That's not. Oh, I see. It's all. Ah, she died. Okay, I think they saved her.
君のために踊ろうクイーン。
世界の熱狂の運動に低温調理僕の出番だね
There we go. Yeah, so the story will be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to yeah, there has to be some sort of like event to introduce like Archer and Saber and stuff like that. There has to be something. So I'm curious to see what that will be. If it'll be, I assume some sort of combat thing, but who knows what it could be anything really. They could just tie them together at any random event. You know, it could be like a galactic baseballer thing, and they pop up. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Just I guess about 6 to 7 more hours to go.
怖いか？それとも恐怖を抱く勇気すらないか？私と打ち合う。
とは堂々不意打ち力よ最高の
少し
一品よ
はまともになって
やっほーよっ食前に甘いものをせ
闇来たる破滅の時にカウントダウン開始煉獄の投影に過ぎないし
会長に任せなさい
誰かに託さなけれ
I fucking hate this fucking. You get like one shot. You go from full fucking health to nothing instantly. It's fucking insane.
私と打ち合う
And like it's just bad luck. She like does this charge attack. You can't see anything with what she's doing, and then she's like, "Oh, whoops, you got fucked." It's like, it's really fucking frustrating. It really sucks to be a melee attack against her, because like she'll do some charge attack which you can't even see, and then instantly fucks you in like one hit. Now I'll have to like I could double check the VODs.
これはあらゆる善意を焼き尽くした刃さあ無に届けるといい
冷凍の使いよ最高の一品よそのよ道理の冬茶道よあふれよふっくたよふっや
これで君の本心を覗けるかモンドを旅していたと
But yeah, actually, I mean, I did see that second slash, but yeah, like it easily took over half my health in one hit. So maybe I was already kind of low health, but yeah, like the fact that she can like two tap you so fucking quickly is fucking insane. It gets really tough because you can't see the lead up for it because she's like she does a physical motion. So if you're by yourself, it's not super hard. It's not that difficult to see. But when you have like four characters all like right next to her with all characters particle effects and all that shit, it's like almost impossible to see what the fuck's going on. So it can get really frustrating as you get like essentially blindsided by it.
ムニックス。
せっほっふっとこれお披露目だ。はっせいそらローズクラッカースピナディロースは特注版よ。歌え
今の
僕の名のもとにふっはっはっ
撃て。ロックオン。今だ。万象よ巡れ。
世界の熱狂の渦に続けて。いい感じ。どうでそれはっせい開幕だ。
今は無料のコーヒーにすら期待できないが。
この時間で間違いないと思うんだけど、今日はコーヒーを飲みに来ないのかしら。いやいや、今日のコーヒーは彼女が一番好きなフレーバーなのよ。絶対に来るはず。うわ、旅人。びっくりした。音もなく近づかないでよ。ごめん。記事と写真のことで頭がいっぱいで。はあ、クロリンデさん遅いな。もしかして今日は本当に来ないのかしら。それはそうだけど、もし誰もインタビューしたことのない決闘代理人をインタビューできれば新聞の一面は間違いなしよ。もちろん直接クロリンデさんにインタビューしても他の記者みたいに拒否されるに決まってる。だから から少しズルをしてみることにしたの。まず彼女がよく行く場所を完璧にリストアップする。そして特定の時間帯に彼女と偶然出会えるようその場所に張り込む。そのためにボードゲームの遊び方まで学んだのよ。近いうちにテーブルトークシアターの新しいシナリオをみんなと一緒に遊んでみようと思うの。できるならクロリンデさんが参加するゲームを企画すればゲームマスターとして彼女と仲良くなれるかもしれないでしょ。もちろんゲーム中に失礼な質問をしたりはしないわ。ナビよ、彼女がどうかしたの？ボードゲームが得意だもし理解不能なことがあったらプロの話術でなんとかごまかすわ。きっと誰にも気づかれないから大丈夫よ。違う君とゴート、そろそろホテルドゥボールに行かなくちゃ。クロリンデさんがあそこでケーキを買うかもしれないの。今日はひとまず失礼するわね。今度
星と深淵、無事今日の依頼を達成しましたね。ありが星と深淵をおっしゃる通りです。
よし、あとワンショットくらいあった旅人。奇遇だな。最近この前ロマリタイムハーバーに停泊したばっかでさ。フォンテーヌのクロックワークマシナリーについては商人から聞いたことがあったけど、美しいステップ。きっと私はそこまでじゃない。ドニアザードとニーローが最近新しいステップを、だからフォンテーヌのダンスを撮影して2人に見せて。でも そいつのダンスにはかなりのパワーがいるな。パートナーとこれは相当大変だぞ。ドニアザードとニーロ、どっちが私か？無理。簡単なステップを自己流で踊るくらいな。前にドニアザードにダンスに誘われたけど、複雑な曲のリズムに、そしたら休憩時間にドニアザードと一緒に踊るのはもちろん楽しかった。でももしドニアザードが戻ったら、ドニアザードにあん時のドレスを出してもらわなきゃな。あのドレスもまさかまた自分の出番が来るなんて思ってなかっただろうか。
この温度でもダメなの？でも冷ましすぎると美味しくなくなっちゃう。旅人来てくれたんだ。こんなに遠くまで来てもらったからには熱
Why would you deliver fish from like you're on the coast. You are a port town. Why are you importing fish when you have shitloads of fish? I mean, sure, I guess like it's a great place to get fresh fish from, but like you can get your own fish. Although I guess everyone wants exotic shit no matter what. So I guess I can see that. But it does seem silly that like a port town is getting foreign fish. Oh, hello there.
本当に無理しなくていいって。リーゆえにも冷菜はあるから、すぐ作ってくるよ。
でもこの水煮魚本当に美味しいよ。もうちょっと頑張ってみる。冷たい水で冷ましてから。
無理しないで。ほらほら、早くご飯を口に入れて。
誰かに麻痺になった。
冷菜は何がいいかな。
この家おいしいね。甘酸っぱくておばあちゃんが作ったのと同じくらいおいしいよ。
もちろん。梅干しと今回はホクホクの蒸しじゃがいもにスイートフラワー。
Yeah, I play that as well. I don't play it as much on stream, simply because I just mainly, it's like the grindy parts of it are pretty fast, so I usually will stream my like weekly Divergent Universe, and if there's new story content, so I'll be streaming it later tonight, because obviously there's going to be the new patch, so in like about 6 to 7 hours, it'll go live, and I'll stream that, see what the new story is, pull for Saber, all that fun stuff.
それだけで飲み込んじゃうと辛いでしょ。早くもう一口食べて。今度はちゃんと一緒に食べてね。
Yeah, I'm really curious what it's going to be. Well, I mean, basically, like the world is fake, essentially. Like we're kind of like in a simulation, like the Matrix, and that's why I think it's like restarting so frequently, because it's like the program itself needs to restart. It's kind of my guess, but I'm not really sure. Like obviously, we don't like know exactly what it is. But yeah, we have like, and so it was that robot guy Lygus, who I think he's like the administrator. He's a computer assistant. Like he's like the administrator of the simulation, and so that's why he's just like chilling there watching everything, because he's like just seeing how it goes. And it seems like, yeah, like maybe the cyclical nature of their gods is like how they just kind of recycle the world and just keep it going over and over again. It's obviously hard to say because, like, you know, who knows? Like, they could just they haven't given us enough information to extrapolate anything other than just the fact that it's a fake world. Not really. I used to watch those teasers more frequently, but then I just kind of stopped. Even though I'm still subscribed to their YouTube channel and I still get them, I'm just not like super interested in it because like I don't really need to get hyped and stuff. I mean, honestly, I should because some of the character ones are really interesting and like they delve more deeper into the characters, but I just haven't gotten around to actually watching them. Which is like silly too, because they're super short. It's not like they're like so long I can't. You mean Finon's one, or is there another one beyond that? I heard Finon's one was really good. Like, and that's the thing is I keep hearing good things about them, and they're interesting. I don't know, and like they're super short too. Like they're not super long. It's like it's between like 2 and 8 minutes usually. So it's like it wouldn't take too much time. For some reason, I just can't get myself motivated to actually watch them.
なかなか趣のある柄ですね。これなら彩香も気に入りそうです。
So yeah, so I'm. Yeah, so I am interested, and they definitely do give some information. Like, 'cause I think the last one I really watched, like, and this is including like Genshin and all of the Hoyoverse type shit. I think it was probably like Arlecchino's one, where they were talking about Arlecchino's past, and it was like, wow, like you get some references to what happened in her past in the game, but like most of the stuff covered in that story is just completely not mentioned at all. Oh, and I saw Castros's one as well. I don't know, like every now and then I'll watch like one, but like I keep missing all of them, and I really should just go through and actually see them again. It's not like they're bad. It does flesh out the world. It's not like there are really so many that it's annoying to keep up. I don't know. I just kind of forget. Yeah, and that's the thing is they keep releasing, and that's kind of like one reason I didn't want to like watch it because I didn't like in general, not like specifically this one, because like if they release some sort of like teaser, but it's like, oh hey, cool, we released all this information, and it's like, is it a spoiler for the game? You know, like if they drop something on you, because like Arlecchino's trailer, we learned. I mean, I guess technically we saw her in the game earlier than that, but like Arlecchino's trailer was before she became a playable character, and it was like going into her backstory and all that shit. So it's basically like spoiling you on her story before, you know, her character even became playable. So there's always that concern as well, where it's like, shit, like, is this gonna spoil the story? Where I'm like, oh shit, now I know this. Like the big reveal they have in the upcoming patch is now kind of like not as impactful. There it always is that concern. Although I don't think they've done it that far. Like I think it's usually more of a filler, and most of the stuff. I never stream reacts like that. I stream on my PS5, and so I can stream games pretty well. I don't know if I can stream a YouTube video. I don't think so. I think if I go into the YouTube app on my PlayStation, it'll not allow me to stream. Because basically, like when I'm playing a game, any game, if you press like the share button, which is like, you know, the button you can like create screenshots off of, there actually is a like little broadcast button off to the side. And so since I've linked my Twitch account, I can just hit the share button, go to broadcast, select the title, and then boom, it'll instantly share. And it'll automatically pick up the game you're playing and put you in that category, which is super convenient. But the problem is I can't, like if the game crashes for whatever reason, boom, stream's over. Like it ends the stream as well because, you know, the game's not playing. So it doesn't, like, it's not like it keeps the streaming session live until I go absent and like just blacks out the screen if a game crashes. It like actually ends the stream because it ties the stream to that game running. So there is that issue. So it does make it difficult to like, I can't swap games midstream. I can't, if the game crashes, that I have to restart the stream again. So there are some issues with it, but it still is ridiculously convenient when everything works well. But yeah, because it is that, I can't do reacts, and that's why I don't have a camera either, is because I don't even know if I could, like, I don't, one, I don't know if PlayStation has a camera. I assume it does, but I don't know if it would work in the same way. So I don't think I could like set it up and be like, oh yeah, hey, here's a camera and have my PlayStation, run. And even if I could, I probably wouldn't do it anyway, simply because um, one of the main reasons, like, I mean, I've been streaming far more regularly lately, but like at least 1 hour a day, I'll be streaming while like I'm walking on my treadmill because I can just like I can hold my controller in my hand while I walk on my treadmill, and so like it would you just can't have a camera like if I had a camera on my computer, it wouldn't it would be at my computer, or if I had a like camera in front of my television, it would be in front of my television. It wouldn't pick me up if I was walking on my treadmill. So generally, it's inconvenient, so I don't even bother. Yeah, I have a treadmill set up in my living room. So basically, I walk and I do my dailies. So earlier today, I finished Jufufu's character quest in Zenless Zone Zero while I walked on my treadmill for about an hour. So it's a nice little way to get some exercise while I play games, because like I'd be doing these dailies and shit like that anyway. So it's like, oh well, you know what I can do? I can just hold my controller, walk on my treadmill, and do my dailies and stuff. And then because I'm like playing a game, it kind of distracts you. Because like normally if you're like walking, you get tired, you get bored, you're like, oh, I'm done. Like I've been walking for like I'm bored, I'm gonna stop. Like it's hard to get motivated. But like, if you're playing a game, you just get like sucked up into it, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just doing this, and then but before you know it, it's been an hour, and you're like, fuck, I guess it's time to stop walking. So it's a nice little way to keep healthy. But that would be like impossible. I mean, I guess you could do it on a computer, but usually computers don't have a television, or you don't have a monitor on your computer big enough to make it, even though you can connect a controller to it and sync up a Bluetooth, like sync up a controller via Bluetooth to your computer. Usually your monitor isn't big enough so you could see it from on a treadmill unless you like move the monitor. But because I play Genshin and play my PlayStation on a big television, I can see it from my treadmill. So.
普段使いの服でしたらしかし正式な場に出席するための衣装について上里家は文化や民の生活を担当する社奉行ですから、その一挙手一それから毎年布地を取り寄せある年調達を命じた使用人に賄賂としてモラを渡す輩が現れまして、それ以降面倒事を避けるためにもこういった社奉行に関する業務はどれも布地は2つまで候補を絞ったのですが、実はどちらにするか決めかねているのです。旅人さん、選んでいただけませんか？あなたは上里府の賓客であり、綾香の親友ですからね。むしろあなた以上の適任者はいないでしょう。それにあなたの気品と立ち振る舞いは実に見事です。布地を見る目もあるに違いありません。素晴らしいですね。ありがとうございます。それでは他にも用事があるのでここで失礼します。では改めて失礼いたします。旅人さん、またお会いしましょう。
滅ふん。
So it wasn't inside, but what the fuck? I went inside and she was not at her marker. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, well, the marker is like right at the door. And I went inside and I circled around and I didn't see her. The problem is, like, when you're inside, you can't actually see any, like, indicator of where she is. And so I went inside and I circled around the center looking outwards and oh, there she is. Okay, I moved too far forward. Okay.
わかりました。ありがとう。もし興味があるなら、グリーン植物習性研究のサウマラタハスに関する困ったことがあったらいつでも聞いてくれ。
Yeah. Because again, I went in and I went to the center circle thing and I was like, I just rotated around that looking outwards. But by that point, I'd already gone past her. So even when I was looking out, I didn't see her. And then because I was only looking to my left side, I had missed her when I went back inside. And so I was like, oh, I don't see her. So I'm like, let's just double check, see if she's down below, because there's obviously the underground where Nilo's whole thing is.
お願いだからからかわないでくれ。違う。ただ後輩たちの植物識別の課題を手伝ってただけだ。2、3人だけって聞いてたから、師匠が空き教室を取ってくれ。最初は私も、今日長い時間をかけて資料を用意して。 パトロール中に取ったノートも全部整理し直したのに。
Well, it was the closest, like, the teleport that was closest to her was up top. So I was already up top, so I was like, oh, I'll glide down, and I saw a door, so I went inside. I'm like, oh yeah, it's the academy. And then I, like, went in, and I saw her marker. I'm like, I don't see her anywhere around here, so I went inside. I just didn't look hard enough, so I missed her the first time. So then I thought, well, let me just double check. Because I was at the right elevation. Because like when I teleported in initially, the marker, her little marker had a little down arrow underneath it. So it was like, okay, it's below me. So I just wanted to make sure that. But It is a little rough, but like pretty much every other marker was like, here's the overworld marker. Go to this location, and they are literally right there. Whereas this is like, oh, actually, we have another separate instanced area. We're just going to lead you to the entrance of that, and inside there's no map indicating where she is. So, like, it would have been nicer if she was a little closer to the entrance. Like, this is fine for the most part, but like if she was in that initial like walkway, that would have been also fine. Like, instead of here, if she was... Can I climb on that? Okay. Like, if you need... I mean, you didn't really have to have her around books, too. Like, you could have just had her in this foyer, just, like, chilling here somewhere, or, hell, even down here, like, down next to these books. Essentially, what it would have been nicer is if, like, the second you walk in, you could see her on either side down there. And then you could just hop down and be like, oh, hey, cool, I have some shit to chat about you. Because, like, even walking in here, like, you can't see her, you have to get all the way here, and then do a 90-degree turn and see her down there. Which is like, so even walking up to that part, she's hidden behind that pillar. And only up to this point, if you're looking there, do you see her. Unfortunately, what I did the first time I came to the center, and then I started looking out like this. And I guess I could have maybe caught her, but... Is this Tignari's study? Because I don't think Tignari... Because this is just the general library. This isn't a study. And, like, Collei has no reference up here. Now, you could argue that if they had brought Layla we have interacted with earlier. Her character quest or her hangout event had us interact with her at that table or that table. I forget which one. So it's like if you had Layla's one and had her come back here and put her at those locations, that'd be fine. Because it's like, well, we have a frame of reference for that. But, like, this is the library, so it's not even like this is Tignari's study. This should just be, I don't know. Because, like, you could argue, like, those doors lead to offices, to other people's studies. And, like, I'm not sure if they ever, like, clearly said specifically where each school goes to. It's like there are these doors and stuff and all this shit, so it's like, oh, these doors actually just go outside the tree, but they never were super clear. They've definitely had us meet some of the people here, and actually, even for Collei... Actually, wait, no, Tignari's study isn't even here. Tignari's study is this. Isn't this location Tignari's, like, area of study? Because I think for Tignari's side quest, and, like, for some Collei interactions, maybe as part of the main story, we go here multiple times. And then we have where he actually, like, chills out at this village. But I'm pretty sure, like, if there was one place where his, like, academy studies, it would probably be here. We have met Collei in front of the academy over here a few times at this location. I think we've met Collei here and, like, talking to Farazan. So maybe this is where a lot of lecture halls are. But I think the other places where Tignari actually works. But either way, it doesn't really matter. So is that all I have at the moment? Or do they cycle? Was that Fontaine? Oh, yeah, I did Fontaine first. I got Dea's one. Oh, and he popped up. Yeah, I think they continuously pop up as you do them. Probably not. I haven't actually really tried to do these. So do you mean people beyond these remaining 8? There's additional ones. I mean, if they pop up on the map, I'll probably do them. I haven't really been trying super hard.
Yeah.
But it just I happened to finish like.
まだ歩くのか。旅人。まさかこんなところで会えるなんて。どうやらさっきの風に謝らないといけないみたいだ。ハットが風に飛ばされてしまってね。ちょうど追いついたところに君がいたのさ。
Oh yeah, I've gotten those. I've gotten who did I see there? Yeah, there's been a few instances where like right outside Catherine's thing. I think I met Jillian. I met Shillinan. Was it Auron or no? I met Kinich as well. I met Kinich. I'm pretty sure I met Shillinan. I think I met another one as well. I just can't remember who it was. But yeah, like Natlan is kind of where I chill out most of the time because like that's where all the like new stuff is. Oh yeah, I meet Ian-san as well. Oh yeah, I met Aoife. Yeah, Aoife was right next to the alchemy table. And I think Ian-san was there too. Like, not at the same time, but, like, but yeah, that's the place I usually go to. Especially because like you got Skirk, so you needed to fight the that elite boss that's in Natlan.
もちろんマジックさ。想像してごらん。君は執務室で仕事をしている事務員だ。でも猛暑のせいか、フォンタマシナリーは壊れてしまい、ぬるいフォンタしか手に入らなかった。絶望する君の隣で、突然同僚が手を叩いた。すると、フォンタの入ったコップに氷が何個か現れた。どんな気持ちになると思う？でしょ？これこそ彼が研究している日常型。
I mean, I usually just end up in Natlan because like if I'm gonna do like ley lines and shit, like because I get the battle pass, but I get artifact experience, normal character experience, and crystals, and not money. So if I do ley lines for money, I usually try to do them in places that I need like the materials for the monster kills, because I don't really run around going after like regular monsters and shit. I only do that if I actually need it. Like I honestly really should go and farm like the phantasmal ones because I need to level Skirk's weapon's not maxed out, so I need to max out that because I'm missing the monster bits. So but for like the other stuff too, like the little like whistles, the saurian teeth, stuff like that. Oh, I see. I've been playing since the game came out, so I've been doing things. I've been doing content in the order it was released. So Natlan is just the newest place I've been to. I mean, I'll sometimes pop back. There's some days I log out in like Fontaine. I just happen to be doing something in Fontaine, but usually, because I'm kind of a completionist, so I've usually like done everything. So, like I've done all the side quests, done all the explorations, like 100%ed everything. So there's no real reason to go back. Like basically, it's like, oh, whoops, I'm low on like I think I actually probably will need to do a few more ley lines in Fontaine because I'm missing some of the gears. The gears the robots drop, I need more of those. So I'll probably do a few ley lines. The Arlecchino, I mean, not the Arlecchino, the Fontaine story is really good. I think the stories have been getting progressively better. Like, Mondstadt was fine. Yeah. Like, Mondstadt was fine, but I just think that, like, each story, I think, is just getting progressively more interesting. So I've been really liking it. Natlan was really cool because of all like the Abyss stuff that we've been learning about. Yeah, see, I have Aoife, Ian Sun, Shilin. I mean, they appear in the book, so I don't know. I don't. That's the thing is, I don't know if these guys were in the book beforehand or after. So like, that's the tough thing. Like, they might have been in the book, and maybe they're random. But that's the thing is because I was already in Natlan, I didn't like check the map to see if there was a marker for them there. 5.6? I think we're in 5.6. Or is this? Yeah, this is 5.6, isn't it? I thought that was kind of weird. Like, I didn't quite get that. Like, because we were in the airships, or we were in the spaceship's hibernation pods. Like, this is the key to our hibernation pod. But then they were like mentioning that like our brother found us in the hibernation pod and was like, wait, no, you're here in the hibernation pod. Like, what? Like, we were in the hibernation pod? Like, I thought our brother was kidnapped and we were also like fucked over. Like, how did we go from being fucked over from that goddess to being chilling in the hibernation pod and our brother waking up 500 years early? Or was it that it was kind of weird? Like, I thought the whole point was that the goddess kidnapped both of us. Our brother escaped 500 years ago and chilled and was chilling in Conria, and then we only escaped recently, and what with memory loss, somewhat memory loss, and popped up in Mondstadt. But then they were like, no, like this girl came up to me and said she had found you, and then I looked and I saw that you were still in your hibernation pod. I'm like, what? When did we ever get to the hibernation pod? Like, I thought, like, that makes no sense. Like, I thought we were both kidnapped by the goddess. Like, how the fuck did that happen? So that was kind of confusing. Wait, Charlotte again? I just did. Oh, maybe this is. I did Charlotte just earlier. Is she even another one? So that was a little confusing. I'm curious what. I see them more than once. Yeah, none of them have anything with more than once. So I'm curious if this is just going to be. It's not going to be the same one. I don't think they've. Well, we know she kidnapped our brother, or like I'm Lamine, so she kidnapped Aether because he was the one wrapped up in the cube. Oh, whoops! No, she was up there. Shit. I thought she was at the same spot as before. So she trapped him in the cube, and then we tried to blast her, and we got blasted away. But I assume then we wake up on Mondstadt Shore, so we assume that we were also kidnapped. Like, we were knocked out, and then she took us away. And then our brother woke up 500 years ago and went to Conria. And I'm thinking that... So I was thinking that the Gnosis... I thought they were extracted from the previous descendant, but it could be that the Gnosis were actually extracted from our brother. So when the goddess trapped our brother, or trapped sibling in that cube, she used that time to create the Gnosis. But then it would be like, then we must have been kidnapped ages ago, because the Gnosis existed for a long time. And then so maybe after finally doing that, she just like kicked our brother to the curb and he woke up 500 years ago. But then it does beg the question of like, well, what happened to us? And so the fact that he was like, oh no, I saw you still chilling in the hibernation pod, and like in our spaceship, I'm like, well, that's what... Did they say it was from the third one, or just from a descendant? They said it was from a descender, but I don't know if they... I can't remember if they specifically said which one. And then, because like that would make sense why we're trying to get back... Okay. And so Aether is the fourth, or is Aether the third? Because that's the interesting thing. Because I was like, well, aren't they trying to get back the Gnosis? And so maybe that's what Aether is trying to do, is get back the Gnosis so he can get all his power back. Because there was one. The reason I had this theory is because in the recent quest, he mentioned that he was like weakened. He was not as strong as he was. He was not strong as he should have been, And that's why I was like, wait a minute, did they? And since the two of us are descenders, maybe the goddess extracted the power from him to create the Gnosis, and maybe that's why he's connected to the Irminsul, is that her removing that abyss power connected him to well, he's not considered now because he's connected to the Irminsul, but my thought was that maybe extracting the Gnosis and creating the Gnosis from his power was what connected him. So, like, maybe the reason why we can use whatever power is because we have, like, the Gnosis inside ourselves, like, the power of the Gnosis inside ourselves, but because the goddess extracted that from Aether, that was what connected him to the Irminsul, and now he's no longer considered a descender because he's lost that initial power. Because he did mention, I'm pretty sure he said in that quest that he was weakened. And so that would be interesting, because that would kind of maybe, and that he's trying to go against Celestia, and that would kind of explain why he's trying to get the Gnosis back, because if he can get the Gnosis back, he can restore his power back. He can restore his power and become, you know, stronger and strong enough to fight Celestia. So that was like my thought, because the two of us were descenders. It's not like we know that he's connected now, but we don't know. We honestly really don't know what happened. Like, we know that, you know, this whole Conrian thing happened, and Conria absorbed, like, used the power of the Abyss, but we don't know if that's, like, explicitly the reason why, like, Celestia attacked. There could have been other shit going on. We don't know what happened in that event. And I don't know if you've ever saw that initial trailer video before the game even came out, where they were just going over, like, the general roadmap of the story, where it was like, oh, Chapter 0, or the prologue, Mondstadt, Chapter 1, Liyue, Chapter 2, Inazuma, and, like, they had showcased a variety of characters. So Ningguang was the showcase for Liyue, Ayako was the showcase for Inazuma, and Sumeru, Sino for Sumeru, Lenny for Fontaine. They actually introduced Ian's son for Natlan. And they had Snezhnaya, and they just showed, you know, the sibling and the Abyss Order, the Fatui. And then after Snezhnaya, they actually had Conria as the next chapter, and then a chapter of question marks after that. So Nod Karai is actually the first instance where they hadn't gone exactly to the same order. Like, everything has been up until that point the exact same. They never mentioned Nod Karai in that initial thing. I mean, that was a video from 5 years ago, so sure, things can change. So that's the interesting thing. It's like, okay, cool, maybe there's a little bit of a difference, but presumably there's still going to be a Conria chapter afterwards. And my thought from the beginning was kind of like it was going to be like a flashback. Like, that would be the perfect time for a flashback episode, like, where we relive Conria from that era and kind of, like, learn about what happened and what caused the war, and maybe even see the calamity happening before then we, like, get back to the future and stuff like that. But now with what happened in the most recent patch, it's like, oh shit, it seems like they're trying to recreate Conria in and of itself, and so that might be it. Like, they actually succeed, and we go to the recreated Conria, which might still have echoes of the past, so we'll be able to glean information about what happened and what led them down that path. Although it is, like, super weird that, like, Skirk's master is, like, so ridiculously strong. Like, so he was just some random dude in Conria, and he's like, yeah, I learned the Abyss powers, and now I'm, like, basically a god. Like, I'm a super god. Like, yeah, I'm just a random dude, but, like, now I cloak myself in Abyss armor, and I'm like, I have this godlike power to do whatever the fuck I want. It's like, Jesus Christ, like, you did that in 500 years? Like, that's fucking insane. Like, it seems a little too unrealistic. But but 500 years ago was when the calamity happened. We actually don't know specifically when Conria started doing all its bullshit. Like, Conria might have been, like, researching Abyss powers for, like, hundreds of years even before that. Like, it could have been, like, ages, even ages past, and he was one of the first people who found it. And then he used the Abyss power to essentially become immortal, and then it just culminated in shit happening 500 years ago that caused the cataclysm. Well, we haven't learned too much about the other sinners, but this one just seemed way over the top. Because it was always just like, yeah, they're researching Abyss powers and did all sorts of shit. And, like, even the technology from Conria, like the earth tillers and all that shit, like, Yeah, sure. Like those are some pretty big, like those are some interesting robots and stuff like that, and that's interesting, but like not crazy, like not unrealistic. It's like yeah, sure, it's an advanced society. We've had lots of like stories like that where they have an advanced society of like an advanced society, just getting destroyed by some random bullshit here and there. But like him specifically was just way too unrealistic. Where you're just like, if it's just like cloaking himself in the abyss and being strong, that's fine. But like the way Skirk was describing him was like he has like this godlike power to like destroy everything or something. I forget specifically what she described his power as, but it was like this insanely, ridiculously powerful thing. And like Skirk, Skirk is powerful, and she's like, oh, he's even more powerful. But then like she even like amped him up even beyond that. It was just like, what? Like that's like way too strong, especially considering how young he should be. Like even if he did, yeah, but she's a witch, and witches are weird. And it's also like that's kind of more metaphysical. Like, and she's like, well, and that's the thing though. She is a witch, and like we really don't know what witches are. Like we know Alice is a witch, but like we even still we don't know what the fuck witches are and what they can do. Whereas the sinner, like Skirk's master, he was a dude. He was a random dude. They even said like he came from a low-born family and stuff like that. So it's not like he was some like super. She was like some super creature, or he was like some super. Like no, he was just some random dude in Conria, just a regular guy. And he was a genius and stuff. And I actually kind of I don't know if you're familiar with X-Men, but I somewhat likened it to Apocalypse. I kind of likened like it seems like he's kind of like the Apocalypse of his time, where he was just some random dude who found some alien technology, and using that and his own inherent mutant abilities, he was able to become this like super being type thing. Although Apocalypse, he's still relatively normal. Like they made Skirk's master like way too powerful, and so it's kind of weird for the timeline. So we don't really know when that happened, and like when Skirk lived here and with the people, like. It's kind of weird. Because the only thing we really know about Conria is just that 500 years ago it collapsed because of that doomsday, that catastrophe. Beyond that, we don't really know how long their civilization lived, because they could have been doing this for centuries, millennia, for all we know. Like we kind of just know that 500 years ago a lot of shit happened, and then 7,000 years ago was the Archon Wars. So. Yeah, well, like he was communing with the Abyss, so presumably he was leaving Teyvat and going into the Abyss and accruing power, or like creating holes to the Abyss to siphon power, like to absorb power from himself. So I don't think he was purely staying on Teyvat as he was getting stronger. Like I think that's why he had that Abyss armor. The Abyss armor was to protect him while he was out and about in the Abyss. And that's how he even found Skirk in the first place, because he was just zipping around with his Abyss armor, doing whatever the fuck he wanted. And then eventually he became, after doing all this for a while, for an untold amount of time, he became so powerful that he was just like a super god. And that was the other thing too, is that he had his friend who presumably was like around the same age. So he had to have gained power way too quickly, because his friend obviously had to live long enough to be able to corrupt himself. Because like this dude had to have met him before he became ridiculously powerful, and because they were saying they were sparring with swordsmanship, and then eventually this guy just like grew too powerful. So I mean, who knows? Maybe Conrians live longer than we do anyway. Like maybe Conrians live for 200 to 300 years, and so this guy met him when he was like 20. And like sparred with him for like 100 years, and at that time, he was always communing with the Abyss and becoming stronger and stronger until. So doing it in 100 or 200 years is not crazy, but we still have no frame of reference. So like until we know that, this all could have happened in like 20 years. It's like in 20 years he communed with the Abyss and then became a super god. Although maybe Skirk's likening him to a god is only a recent thing. Maybe when he first left Teyvat, he was just really strong for Teyvat, and just in the past 500 years, he's become even stronger. So it could be that just in that 500-year gap between when Conria fell and now, he's now just recently, gotten the powers of a god. Because that was always the interesting thing of like what a god really was, right? Because like there was the Archon Wars, and eventually it just ended up being the Seven, but there were many gods back in the day. So like what makes a god, right? Like what's the difference between a god and a normal person? And then of course the Natlan kind of really throws that into question, because like we have a human who became an Archon, right? So like, did he become a god, or did he gain the powers of a god, or like did he actually become a god in doing so, or is he just given something that gives him the powers of a god? Like, was the Gnosis just making him as powerful as a god, but not actually a god? No, I'm talking about their natural lifespan. Before the calamity happened 500 years ago, their natural lifespan might have been longer. We assume that they're human, and they live like 100 years. But it could be that Conrians, if they had a super advanced society, they might have a natural lifespan of longer. So maybe this was happening over... It could have been, but it hasn't been explicitly said, because we don't really know what the Gnosis actually do. It seems like the Gnosis act more like as batteries of power, because like it's not like the Archons lose their power when they don't have the Gnosis, but it does seem like maybe the Gnosis act as like a amplifier and storage capacitor, so it's like they can store excess power so they can use more power at once. But it doesn't really seem like the Gnosis... Like, it seems like the Archons existed before the Gnosis existed, so obviously an Archon is not an Archon because of it, but they do have it. And it does seem to help them, but it doesn't seem to harm them either, because they, like, Zhongli was trying to become more human anyway, but, like, Venti lost his Gnosis, he didn't really give a shit. Zhongli was like, whatever. Like, Yae Miko had Raiden's Gnosis for the longest time, like, she clearly doesn't give a shit. Nahida also gave it away like it was nothing. Like, New Valette is slightly different, because, like, he already had his dragon powers, and, like, the dragons are stronger than the Archons in the first place. Like, the Archons are kind of like mimicking their power, so he wouldn't need it. But again, it doesn't seem like they're super like necessary. So it's always kind of like weird. So like, what is a god? What differentiates a god from a human? Can a human actually become a literal god? Like, we have the well, the definition of Archon is not super ambiguous. It's the definition of a god that's ambiguous, because it's like all Archons are gods, but not all gods are Archons. So like an Archon is just like the ruler of that element, it seems. It just seems like you're the apex of that element, and you're God. It's like you are God and you are the best of your element. That basically seems like what an Archon is. It's the king of that element, essentially. And it seems like all the gods were fighting to become the king of their own element. Is kind of like what I read it as. But like, what is a god? Like, if the Archon War was fighting, but like there clearly is a differentiation between gods and humans. But what is that? Like, what's the difference? Yes, exactly. So, yeah. So I mean, they definitely have a lot of mysteries in it, and they've been slowly like revealing a lot. So it's interesting to see kind of what your sibling is doing. I mean, she might be the only one now. So it's hard to say, because back before the Archon Wars, there were lots of gods. So like, what created the gods? Do the gods precede Celestia? Was Celestia created after the Archon War or before? Like, when specifically did we show up? Like, when were we flying above the sky? When did we get captured by that goddess? Was that before the Archon War? Like, or was this ages ago? Or was this like, maybe 1,000 years ago, and our sibling was trapped for 500 years before they popped out and lived Conria's apocalypse? And then it was just kind of vague. It could be. But it's not like they're like a super invader, because like they are resisting the power of the Abyss. And like we talk about the fake sky, but it's like, well, yeah, sure, there's a fake sky. But like this fake sky could be there to protect us. It could be acting as a bubble to protect us from the Abyss. Because like the Abyss seems like, you know, the Abyss seems like shit. The Abyss seems like crap. And like in that Sumeru area, we had a crack in the sky where the Abyss was leaking out, like leaking in, and we had to fix that shit. So it seems like it could be that the fake sky is just there to protect us from the powers of the Abyss. Yeah. Like the Sovereign Dragons were the first, and like I think they did say that we like stole their powers. But so initially I was thinking, oh well, is that how we formed the Gnosis? But then they're like, no, we extracted it from the Descender. So I was like, oh okay. But I'm not sure how they stole the powers from the dragons. But or maybe that's the throne. Like maybe every Archon has a throne as well. And so Furina destroyed her throne, and that's how she was able to give her power back to Neuvillette. So maybe the throne is the source of the Archon's power, and that's why losing the Gnosis doesn't really matter. Or maybe the Gnosis is a way for us to tap into that power. So you need the Gnosis. Yeah, it could be. I mean, yeah, the witches could just be aliens. They could just be like aliens that come from other planets that are just super powerful. It's really hard to say. Like, they seem to have they don't seem to be immortal, because they have mentioned that some of the witches have died. Yeah. But that's the question. Is it this world's borders or like the world's in general, right? Like all the world's borders? Like every planet's border, so it's like it's vague, because obviously they're being vague. Nodcry, I think we're going to see a lot more witch stuff, so I think there's going to be a little more in-depth lore about the witches, the Hexen Circle or Hexenkreuz or whatever the hell it was. So I think we'll get a little more information about that. I imagine I bet we're going to meet Alice for realsies this time. But we'll have to see. Who knows? Maybe we'll never ever meet her. Maybe it'll be like we'll meet a puppet of hers or something, for all we know. But... So that was a second one for her. Oh, okay, so they can have more than one. Shit. That makes it more confusing. Smith there. Yeah, like here. Now, it's not as huge a problem now, but yeah, like there was a crack in the sky that was... I guess it's been totally fixed now that we fixed the tree. But yeah, there was a crack in the sky where like Abyss power was leaking out. And so it's like, it does seem like the sky... Like, they talk about the sky as some sort of malicious thing, and I guess if they're against Celestia, sure, right? Like, if they dislike Celestia and all it stands for, then... let's see. Oh, maybe. I think the leaks I know so far are just kind of what the roles... I do know we're gonna have a pyro... I know I've seen some of the leaks of what kind of characters we're gonna get, but they haven't been specific with the names yet. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, so... Oh, yeah, and definitely the Dragon Boy. The Dragon's going to be a playable character in Durin. Durin's going to be a playable character, I'm 100% sure of that. And I'm pretty sure it's happening in Nodcry. I think that was been leaked. Yeah. So, like, the Abyss doesn't seem good. But then again, and, like, even so, like, the fake sky could just be protecting Teyvat from the Abyss, because it seems like the Abyss is constantly trying to break in and fuck shit up all the time. But I guess if you're against Celestia and everything it stands for, you to be against the fake sky, but, like, it's hard to say, like, what would happen. And, you know, obviously Celestia has been kind of overbearing. Like, with the prophecy of Fontaine, like, why the fuck would they say that? Like, that's kind of a dick move. Well, like, Celestia's up against other shit, too. Like, Celestia's against the whatchamacallits, the water Sele thing people, the water people from becoming human, and you know they fucked over. Well, I mean they fucked over Conria, but Conria obviously had aligned with the Abyss. Yeah, well, it was Celestia that gave them their Gnosis, so like they have an allegiance. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they did say it was. We can allude that Celestia is what stole the dragon's power. So it's tough to say. Like, so they definitely have done some bad shit, like punishing the Fontanians for trying to mimic human forms. It's like, why? That's kind of like a dick move. Like, there's no real point. Like, there's no real need to punish them for that. Conria is like, yeah, sure. If Celestia takes a hard stance against the Abyss and Conria uses the Abyss, it's like, yeah, that obviously you got to put a stop to that. But they have done some questionable stuff too. Yeah, and it seems like they have certain rules in place. They say, hey, we've laid down the rules, that these are the rules of Teyvat now, and it's just punishing people for not following them, and that's why Fontanians got screwed, because they violated that rule. But, like, that seems like an arbitrary rule, but a relatively arbitrary rule, but who knows? Maybe there's a reason behind it. But until we actually, like, go there, it'll be hard to say. But I'm fine. I'm fine getting little bits and pieces here and there. I think the story is told very well. I enjoy it. So I'm curious what will happen with our brother or our sibling, and all that shit. And then, of course, when we finally get to Snezhnaya, because, like, I don't think they have the Pyrognoses at the moment. I think Malvika still has it. And supposedly that's the only one they're missing. Oh, and Doctoria is going to be a playable character in Nod Karai too. So, like, that will be interesting. So Doctoria is coming back. He's going to play a big part in the story. And we're getting him as a playable character, so presumably he's not going to get killed. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. That's what I thought. Like, you know, that's obviously an easy way to like resolve the story and have and continue it. Is that basically after we resolve all this stuff, we destroy Celestia and I don't know, become gods ourselves for all we know, or like fix the laws of the world to resist the Abyss better. Kind of like how we remade the ley lines of Natlan, maybe remake the ley lines of the world or the rules of the world to better resist the Abyss. And then, you and your sibling could then get into your spaceship and zip off to another world. And then that's what they could do, is they could just be like, hey, every single major patch, like the 7.x would be a new world we go to, and then it's, the 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 patches that like explore that world. They could do stuff like that. But they also could just be like, I mean, it depends if they have the ideas. Because like what would suck is that if they like run out of ideas and they just I mean, the dragons were trying to work within the confines of the rules, and even still they weren't, and they were only within their own region. Like, if we were able to overtake, it's possible something in Celestia is what manages the rules themselves. Like, there could be some sort of machine or device that, like, is closely connected with that shit, and then using, maybe we can insert all Gnosis into it, and then with that we hold the power to, like, remake the world or something like that. And only then? Hard to say. Like, obviously it's... Yeah, but the story got super weird. Like, I was going up until Kiana became essentially like a super god, and then they were just like introducing all these other stories, and they were just so awkward and weird. And it's just, it's not as good. And basically, like, once they lost the blonde dude as the villain, the Luocha copy, or I mean the what Luocha from Honkai Star Rail is based off of. What the fuck was his name? But yeah, that douche. Once they got rid of him as like the main villain, when he was just trying to be like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck over the entire world just so I can bring back the person I love from who died ages ago. Once they got rid of him, like the story just kind of like went off the rails. Like, yeah, auto apocalypse. Yes. Once they got rid of him, like he was a good antagonist, and it was like, and it was more structured. But then after that, it just kind of got zany and weird. It was like, yeah, all this crazy shit happening back to back. It's like, yeah, Kevin's fighting you now for some reason. It's like, why? It was always kind of weird, like with the whole bubble universes and shit like that. It was always super kind of like odd and like, but it was relatively grounded. And then once you beat Kevin and become the Herrscher finality, it's just like, what the fuck's going on? Like, this is just weird. And then they like did the whole like new thing where it's like, okay, now we're some brand new characters and we're in this other world, and it's like, it's so like, what is this? Like, you don't even know like what universe they're in anymore, like what they're doing or why they're doing it and what's happening. It's really hard. It makes more confusing to follow along. But like, yeah, Mar, but like, really, like, there's like no mention that like anything looked like this, and it's like, what the fuck's going on? And then just introducing more new characters, and just, I don't know. I think it introduced so much foreign stuff, and then just like blasted through and like just didn't explain shit well enough, and so I lost interest and stopped playing. So I'm kind of worried the same thing will happen with Genshin, is that like they clearly, based on their promotional video from 5 years ago, they clearly had a general outline of where the story would progress, you know, through all the 7 countries, and then Conria, and then a mystery epilogue chapter against Celestia, perhaps, and then that'd be the end of the story. So, like, I'm worried they'll do the same thing as, like, Honkai Impact 3rd, where they get to the end and we're like, okay, let's go to another new world. Like, basically just do bubble universe stuff. The same type of shit, where it's like, oh, cool, we've gone to this bubble universe. Does it make sense? No, not really. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I think one thing that makes Genshin so good is because... Oh, nice. I did that for Wuthering Waves. In 1.1, I spent the rest of my like tokens on Chang Li, and then I immediately stopped. I just pulled for her and then stopped playing the game. And then I came back into the game when Renacita came out. I played through that, and I just got super bored again. And then like last patch's events were so fucking boring, and like the cube event and the theater event were just so repetitive and stupid and just not fun at all. I was like, fuck this. But I still waited until the swimsuits came out, and I bought Chang Li's swimsuit, and then immediately quit the game. I'm like, cool, I got a swimsuit. Now, because if I ever come back to play the game, I'll have that. And then I stopped again. But yeah, I'm just kind of worried that, yeah, when Genshin finishes the story, they'll just like run out of ideas. And like one thing that's good about the game is that like, it's like, sure, like Natlan had its own story. It was like, so Natlan had his own little contained stories. Sumeru had his own little contained story. But there's this overarching plot, you know, the overarching plot of us trying to find our sibling, the overarching plot of what our sibling is doing in the background, what the Abyss is doing. Yeah, it was just terrible. Like, the cube event was fine until like floor 12, and then it became really tedious because you've powered up your cube as much as you could. And so you're not doing any more damage, and so it's just so tedious to kill waves of enemies up until floor 21 to officially clear the event. And then they introduced the theater event, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, if you only had to do it once, that'd be fine. Okay, you went through the thing, you did the thing, that's fine. But it's like, no, there's multiple endings. So you have to do the exact same fucking thing, except make different choices or not do certain things so that you get a different ending instead. And it's like, so I have to do the exact same shit for like no reason. You're just like, oh, for a and the only difference is just only the ending, right? Like everything leading up to the ending is exactly the same, except you just got to make sure to not do certain events. And then it's like, oh yeah, and by the way, you just get a different image or a slightly different text for that final little cutscene. It's like, wow, amazing, cool. That's not a huge waste of my time. Like, and like the Firmament one takes you like 30 minutes to do, but the other one takes you like 60 minutes. So it's like, yeah, we just want to like, and the 60-minute one, the robot one, had like 3 endings, and it's like, you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, really? Like, it took me like 60 minutes to do like everything. I was doing literally everything as I was progressing through, and so I got the best ending. And so the other endings might not take as much time because I can skip some stuff. But like, if you skip stuff, you won't be as strong. Your level won't be as high, so the battles will be more challenging, but it'll take less time. So it's just like, do you want it to be annoying and slightly faster, or less annoying, but takes your time? And there's like no meaningful reason to do it, just to get the extra endings and to get a few extra rewards. And it's like, that's kind of shit. So yeah, after that, I'm just like, you know what? Like, and the exploring is not as fun because like they introduce like combat challenges, and the combat challenges like are a little too like. I think they should try to keep the exploration content and the combat content separate, so that the exploration content should be fun, enjoyable, and like kind of relaxing and just like a chill little thing to do. And then you have so much other combat content. If you want to do like harder combat, then fine, just leave it for that. Like, those challenges are just kind of annoying, and the game is not as fun to explore as Genshin. And so, like, and at that point, but it's still just as time consuming. So at that point, I just like, you know what? Yeah, and it's just like, because like that's the casual content. Like, you shouldn't inject, and like of course, like I want 100% the zone, so I have to do it. But like, so it's like you inject like these arbitrarily hard challenges into what's supposed to be a relatively fun, casual experience, and it's like you shouldn't mix and match that shit. Yeah. And like I get like the weekly bosses and like the Spiral Abyss thing. It's like, yeah, sure, you want to make that challenging. You want to make the illusion, like the nightmare bosses or like I forget what they were called, but like that place where you can challenge bosses of varying difficulty. You want to have challenging content, like you want challenging combat content. That's fine, but like realistically, it should kind of be separate. It's like, hey, if you want to engage with that, here you go. Here's this stuff, and basically, yeah, just the events are a little too repetitive, a little too combat oriented. It's not as relaxing. Although I thought the fishing event was fun, but the fishing event was also super tedious. Like it was a little too involved. And then of course they like they give you some rewards for like, oh yeah, by the way, get every single fish. First it's get every single fish, like get a gold version, a silver, like get a silver and a gold version of every single fish as well. And it's just like, but it's all up to fucking random chance. So it's like essentially just saying, hey, fish, like, can you please fish for the next 500 hours so you can complete your like fishing log? And it's like, and it's all luck based. And it's like, wow, that really sucks. Especially for like the really tough fish, the super fish that only spawn once a week from their spot. So if you go to their spot and fish them up and they're not, and you don't get a medal for it, then you're fucked. You have to wait a week to try again. So it's like, yeah, so they definitely don't have. They aren't thinking things through. It's nice to have a grindy content, but that's a little too grindy. So yeah, I basically Wuthering Waves so I could, because I was also like just taking too much time to do these things. Like I play Genshin, I play Honkai Star Rail, I play Zenless Zone Zero. Like those take up time, but they also are fun to do, or they're relatively easy to do. So it's like it's not super challenging. Yeah. I mean, the combat isn't as challenging. So if you want challenging combat, then yes, obviously, Wuthering Waves is a better game for that. Like, a game where you're expected to dodge, where parries are actually a thing. Like, you can still iframe a dodge in Genshin, but the idea is more like, yeah, you're mostly going to be just healing or shielding through damage, than actually trying to iframe dodges. Now, you still can iframe dodges as an expression of skill, but mostly it's like, yeah, either completely avoiding it by just staying away during big moments like that, or healing or shielding through it. So, and I think there's a little more freedom too with team builds. Like, Wuthering Waves doesn't release enough characters, and they make them like so necessary for each other. Like how Zani is basically useless without Phoebe. I mean, like, Phoebe makes, like, Zani do, like, 50% more damage or something like that. Yeah. And so, like, but yeah, so if you like challenging combat, then yeah, Genshin is just gonna be too easy. I mean, that's basically one of the big complaints about Genshin since its inception, was just the fact that there's no, good end game content. It's combat, like, this combat is just too easy and stuff like that. So Wuthering Waves is better in that regard, but, like, I think they just do kind of everything else slightly worse. In fact, I even heard that people were talking about, I guess, the newest patch of Wuthering Waves introduced a card game. And I'm like, oh, Wuthering Waves introduced a card game. So the Genshin copied Genshin again? Like, they copy so much shit. Like their previous game, Punishing Grey Raven, was just basically Honkai Impact 3rd. They copied Honkai Impact 3rd and made the combat more challenging. And Genshin, Wuthering Waves was just Genshin, but made combat more challenging. That's just basically what they do. They just copy another Hoyoverse game and just make it slightly more challenging in combat. But, like, make all other aspects of it worse. Like, they do storytelling worse. The music is hit and miss. I think the music of Renacida was fine, but, like, the area design and music of Jinzo was kind of shit. It was kind of bad. Like, it just... The post... Oh, yeah. I mean, it would have to be. Like, Genshin's card combat is heavily related to its elements. It's heavily related to its characters, and the characters are heavily related to their elements. And the fact that you, like, roll dice to get their energy and stuff, like, it would be really hard to make a Wuthering Waves equivalent to that, because, like, that's just not how Wuthering Waves works at all either. Like, basically, the character's element in Wuthering Waves doesn't matter at all. Like, the only thing that actually matters about their element is that sometimes they make enemies resistant to it. But otherwise, it's like... Which, some people like. I think Genshin's card game is really well designed. But it's also kind of complicated and kind of like challenging to do in its own right. So I do enjoy it, but I never do it. So it's just like, yeah. I mean, you kind of do that for Genshin too. Genshin is just like, it's like it's your turn. It's like it's your turn, their turn type thing, where it's like, yeah, you have your character do shit, they attack. But it's hard to say. Because Pokemon is, like, I would say Genshin's card game is more in depth than Pokemon too, because, like, it has. I mean, it's hard to say. Well, maybe Pokemon back in the day. I'm not sure what Pokemon is now. Maybe it's gotten more complicated, but yeah, Genshin card game is pretty interesting and complicated, and I would say it's better. I would say it's better designed than the original Pokemon game, but it also is a little more complicated. So that's like, so Pokemon's better to appeal to a wider audience, but either way. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I don't mind that they copied. It's they made an interesting game. It's not like they, like, literally copied every aspect. It's not like they literally copied everything, but, like, just like, oh, you did this, well, we're gonna do this. Like, they use the same elements, and it is a little silly when you see them do something like a card game event. It's like, really, a card game event? Like, not every open world gacha has a card game event, but, like, it's like, wow. It just so happens that the one game, the game you got heavily inspired from, also has one, so you put one in your game too. And I would argue against that. I think Wuthering Waves has some good moments, but they tell it very poorly. They have some really cool cinematic moments, but they really are bad at connecting those moments together. I think that's always been kind of the issue for them. Like, I have a really, really good example that I tweeted out ages ago, where it was for Carlotta's character quest, and so when you're investigating the panel to figure out, like, something was stolen, and in that scene, Carlotta talks about, oh my god, this thing that was stolen is really bulky and annoying. Like, there's only a few places you could possibly hide that. Like, it's such a it's such a big gainly thing. There's nothing, like, where he had to have hidden it along on his port that he manages, because that's the only place you can hide it. And then at the end of that quest, she literally holds it in her hand. On the palm of her hand, she holds the thing that she was saying, yes, there's only one place he could have hidden it, at the port, because of how gainly and big and bulky this thing is. And it's like, dude, it is literally on your palm. This dude could have hid it in his pocket. He could have hid it in a cupboard. He could have hidden it literally anywhere. But they wrote it like that so they would have to go to the port where they found that mirror. And it's just like, what? Do you not read your own story? Like, this is literally the same quest. Like, I've seen instances where, like, they mention something in a previous patch, and they kind of forget about it and contradict themselves in the next patch, and it's like, fine, sure, right? Like, that's a 6 weeks in between the patch, but, like, this is literally made within the same patch for the same quest, and you fuck it up. And there was also issues, too, with the stained glass windows thing of Renacida, where they're like, oh, look, here's the stained glass windows that tell the story of Renacida. And you're like, oh my god, and you're like, oh, well, this had to have been, like, super far in the past, but they keep contradicting themselves, because they're like, oh, well, the Dark Tide is when all the Tacit Discords popped up and fucked over the planet, and they keep referencing the Dark Tide. Like, there had to have been more than one Dark Tide, because there was the Dark Tide where the Order was formed, that created the Order, the Church, essentially, and there had, like, and because that had to have been ages ago, but then they keep mentioning the Dark Tide that happened 20 years ago. It's like, oh yeah, the Dark Tide happened 20 years ago. It's like, well, that couldn't have been the Dark Tide that formed the Order, because that's when the Sentinel was supposedly injured, and you keep, like, why would you be trying to hide the history of the Order when it was 20 fucking years ago? People remember what happened 20 years ago. People aren't that fucking stupid. Why are you trying to hide what happened 20 years ago when people are still alive? So I'm like, no, that had to have happened ages ago. It's like, that had to have been the moment where the Threnodian and the Sentinel combined. And so the Dark Tide from 20 years ago is when they tried to fuck shit up even more. And it failed. So, like, it was just really, really inconsistent with the timing. And I think that's kind of, like, what a huge issue they've had, is they keep messing up the timing for stuff. They keep, like, framing things in a way like, oh, this had to have happened ages ago. And it's like, and then they then turns around and be like, yeah, it happened 10 years ago. Like, what? Like, everything you mentioned was all about how things happened, like, long, long time ago. And, like, also for the Black Shores one. So it's like, oh, the Black Shore, well, it's being, like, the Tethys system is being powered by a micro black hole that contains the suffering of one of these cataclysmic events. And we're like, oh no, that's bad. Like, all of our, like, and we have a shitload of these black holes that contain all these catastrophic events. So we need to stop this. Like, we can't do this. These people are suffering. That's bad. And what happens? Well, we replace it with another black hole. And we're like, oh, but no, this one's fine. This one's not. This one's more chill. This one's more relaxed. It's like, dude, these things are formed around these cataclysmic events that only appear where human society is thriving. So they are always going to cause shitloads of suffering, and you just happen to find one, and you find it off screen too. Like, we go in trying to rescue Shorekeeper. We grab her hand, and then it's like, we wake up, like, we have a hallucination on that shore. We pop out of the hallucination, and Shorekeeper's like, oh yeah, by the way, while you were knocked out, I replaced the battery. I replaced the human suffering core with another one. This human suffering core is nicer though. They're much more chill. We probably won't have another issue in another 10 years. Yeah, and I think that's really good, because then they can keep their own little self-contained stories. Like, Natlan can be Natlan, Nod'Karai can be Nod'Karai, and then you just have, like, you know, bits and pieces you can allude to that. Like, they do a really good way of, like, connecting everything. Where, like, because, like, I mean, I don't know, like, I did miss some. So I stopped playing Wuthering Waves at 1.1 and only came back at 1.4 right before Vernacida came out. So I don't know what happened in between the patches, but, like, we go to Black Shore and it's like, and basically we only meet Abby at the end of 1.0. Abby pops up, sucks up the power of the Threnodian, and that's when we have a little chat at the end, and that was it. 1.1, we don't even see Abby, I don't even think. Where, like, Abby pops up to say one or two things, and then we don't see it at all in any of the other quests. Like, I don't even think in the Black Shore thing it even appeared. And then when Renacida pops up, it's like, hey, I haven't, like, Abby's been so lethargic lately. We haven't really talked to it. And it's like, dude, he never talks anyway. Like, Abby never speaks regardless. Abby barely says anything anytime. Anyway, what do you mean it feels more lethargic? Like, we just met the fucking thing, and it barely has spoken the entire time. Like, what do you mean it's feeling lethargic? Let's go to Renacida to, like, figure out what's wrong with it. Like, what? Like, Abby, the creature that has existed for a millennia? Like, we were told that we were, like, super fucking old, and Abby's been with us the entire time, yet somehow now, after a millennia of existing with us, now it's having issues? It's like, there's so many things they really are bad at connecting the story together. But they do some epic moments, like fighting Cartithia was really interesting, like the Upside Down City, super annoying to explore, but conceptually was interesting, like, as a story. Like, they do some really cool epic moments, but they just can't connect them properly. Like, I liken it to, like, the fact that, like, they have a different team of writers writing every single patch, where it's like, that's why they can't connect them, because the same person's not writing the story the entire time. It's the kind of thing that would have really benefited is if they had, like, a game plan. Like, even in Black Shores, right? Like, in Black Shores, they talk about the other countries. Like, Shorekeeper's like, oh yeah, like, there's so many other places you need to go to. You could go to Jinza, you could go to Renacida, or you could go to other countries, and, like, that's it. So, like, they haven't even thought beyond Renacida, you know? Like, before Genshin even came out, we knew the names of every single Teyvat country. We knew all of them. We knew the name of Sumer, we knew the name of Inazuma, we knew the name of Natlan, we knew the name of Snezhnaya. Like, we knew all of those names before Genshin even came out. And in the Black Shores arc, in the story, they can't even mention any other countries beyond Renacida, the country we're going to go to next in the next patch. Like, yeah. So I don't think they've planned far enough ahead. And so I think it makes it difficult for them to foreshadow anything, because they honestly haven't actually thought that far ahead. And I do think it makes their story suffer. I still think they make some really good scenes. Like, that's all fine and well and good. But I do think it is immersion breaking when they keep, like, fucking up on the small little details. Yeah, which is obviously not how you write something. You create an outline and then you fill out the outline. Hell, like, they should have people, like, at this point thinking about, like, what, like, when Renacida, I mean, it's kind of like how MMO expansions go. Like, an MMO expansion comes out, and when the MMO expansion comes out, you're already thinking about the next expansion. So sure, you have people writing and doing the patch content of that, but you're also already starting conceptualizing what the next expansion will be. So, like, I play Final Fantasy XIV, so when Dawn Trail came out, they were probably already thinking, sure, here's what the patch content is going to be, here's where the story's going to go, but, like, supposedly the next Final Fantasy patch will be the conclusion of the Dawn Trail story, and then they'll start doing foreshadowing for the next expansion. So, like, they've already, like, even when 7.0 came out, they were probably already thinking about the story for 8.0 and beyond. And that's kind of, at the very least, that's kind of what they should have done. So basically, when Renacida came out, they should already know where it's going to go to next. But ideally, they should know where it's going to go to next for the next 2 times, because you could start, like, introducing characters, right? Like, you could be like, hey, well, we know what the next 2 countries are going to be and what they're themed like. Maybe we could have a character from one of those countries pop up and, like, maybe, do a little foreshadowing of their country before they pop up. But, like, up until 1.4, we never even heard of Renacida or even heard of any country beyond Jinzo. And even and the only time we hear about Renacida was, like, the literal patch before it. Yeah. Well, because that's the thing, is that they, 5 years ago, they knew where the story was going to go. Now, I doubt they had the actual, like, full details of exactly what's going to happen, and that's why Nod Cry's popping up. Nod Cry wasn't in that initial promotional video, so it seems like they've come up with some new shit along the way, which is great. Like, more content. And I'm sure that, like, while they're working on Nod Cry, they're already... I mean, that's why we get, like, leaks for characters, like, ages in the future. Like, that's why we know that Doctoria is going to come out in the Nod Cry patches. Is because whoever's getting these leaks are getting them, like, from the devs themselves, and they've already planned many patches ahead, and that's what you should do. I think that's the way to write and design it. That's the way to write and design a good game. Because like the character designs, Wuthering Waves aren't that good. Like they're fine, they're not bad, but they're not great. Like they're sexy, sure. You know, Chang Li is super hot. Cantarella is ridiculously hot. Like, goddamn that jiggle. But like, I don't know, they're kind of like not as interesting. Like, look at this, goddamn. This is so cool. I think it also helps that Genshin went for a more cartoonish appearance, which allows you a little more freedom. For like, making it less realistic can make your imagination like makes you fill in gaps of your imagination and makes it a little better. Whereas Wuthering Waves goes for a more realistic approach, which is fine. But I don't know. Like when you do this more cartoony approach, you can make characters that are more cartoony, and it would fit with the aesthetic. But when you're going for a more realistic approach, it ends up being a little more boring because you kind of want to try to make them more realistic. You're like, well, they look real. They have more realistic models and proportions and stuff, so you want to make their appearance look realistic. But realistic is basically boring, right? Like that's just kind of how it is. Like you get so many people. Like I don't know if you played the Oblivion remaster. There were some people complaining that like the colors didn't look as good. And that's because in the original Oblivion, they just gave it these cartoonishly bright colors because the graphics kind of sucked. But with the Oblivion remaster, what they did is they're using Unreal Engine 5, and so they have very realistic grass and trees and stuff like that. But that realism is like, yes, you have realistic looking trees. These are trees that look like normal trees, like trees that look like if you went into a forest and looked at a tree. So they aren't like cartoonishly bright green and stuff like that like they were in the original. And so the color palette looks duller because it's more realistic. It's more realistic shades of green and stuff like that. So there are people who can complain about that, like, oh man, just like make it a little more vibrant type stuff, where it's like, yeah, it's that kind of shit. Yeah, exactly. And so it's fine. Like I think it's fine. Like I prefer kind of the realism, so it's more immersive for me. But I can understand what people are saying. That they just want it to like pop a little more, which is it's fine. But yeah, it's kind of thing that Wuthering Waves kind of has too, where it's like they kind of made it more realistic, and so it doesn't pop as much as Genshin does. And then the fact that they tried to make it really, I mean, the fact that their first region is this like post-apocalyptic war zone, which is like great, so it looks like shit. Because it's supposed to look like shit, but it doesn't stop it from looking like shit. It's like, yeah, this place is destroyed. It's like, yeah, it's supposed to look like that, but it also looks like shit because it's destroyed. So, and then like the music was so dreary. It was just like, oh my god, it's like so somber and just like soul crushing. It's like, man, like compared to this, where you have this nice, like, nice, calm, relaxing, yeah. And that's something you can do when you have. I mean, obviously, this is like right in front of this glowing fucking tree, so obviously it's going to look a lot more colorful. But yeah, you just go in here and like, yeah, the grass is unrealistically bright green and stuff like that. But if you actually tried to make it realistic grass, it'd be like, a few shades darker. Yeah. I think Renacida definitely improved upon that. It does feel a little more cheery and nice, except for the dragon area. But I think they're trying for a more realistic approach of the world is definitely making it look slightly less appealing. I'm not saying it's like bad, but it is less appealing than like a world like Genshin, where you can just make it like bright and vibrant and stuff like that, more anime and cartoony. But is he underwater? Probably, I guess. Oh yeah, what? Yeah, so I guess they just pop up after a while. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when it's dark, when it's night here, it's kind of hard to see stuff too. Although I guess, the vibrant colors definitely do help. But But yeah, the music is just better. Like, it basically, Wuthering Waves does everything Genshin does, except slightly worse. Except combat. Combat is better, but I would say every other aspect of the game is slightly worse. But I'm a person who likes a game for the story. So, like, oh, cool, the combat is slightly better. Cool, I don't really give a shit. I play a game for the story, and for, like, how fun it is to play, and then, you know, it's not that great comparatively. And then all the colors they splashed on the mountains are super cool. Yeah. No, I think Renacida definitely has better music, and so it's more interesting. But yeah, just Genshin music is better. Yeah, right from the start, it's great. Like, and that's the whole thing. Is you start in Mondstadt, and it's just like this nice, cheery little like flute and instrumental stuff. So it's like you're out and about, and I mean, the tone of the game is definitely more, is definitely lighter. Like the tone was always supposed to be lighter. Like, sure, you kind of met the goddess, and she, you know, kidnapped your brother, but you woke up, and again, Mondstadt is like being besieged by a dragon, but generally, like, the world isn't, you know, totally fucked. Whereas, like, you pop up into Wuthering Waves, and it's like, yeah, the world's basically fucked. Like, everything's fucked over, like, shitloads of things are dead, but sometimes they're not, because we just decided, nah, these people are fine. Like, yeah, most of the world's fucked over, except, oh yeah, Renacida's totally fine. And then, like, the new area of Renacida, too, it's like, wait, what? So there's another island just off of Renacida with a completely different architectural style. Like, what the fuck is that about? Like, it would make sense if that was another country. But, like, the fact that it's so part of... Yeah. Like, the Threnodians are these, like, overarching things that are trying to wipe out humanity. It's like, yeah, that's obviously kind of fucked. So the tone is definitely, you know, darker, which is understandable. But the problem is they try to, like, lighten it up. So all the parts where they're, like, making it, like, a light, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of feels out of place. And then just the fact that they can't, like, do the story well, and, like, end up, like, just, like, messing up some details here and there. It ruins the immersion for me, and just after a while of that, I'm just like, I'm kind of, like, done. I might come back. I don't know. Like, I came back for Renacida because the people are saying, oh my god, Renacida is so much better. It fixes all the problems. And I'm like, well, I mean, 1.0 story was terrible. Absolutely terrible. It was absolutely, like, the pacing was absolute shit. Like, 1.0 to 1, or Acts 1 through 5 were, like, just so fast-paced where they just dumped a fuckload of terms on you without explaining any of them. And then people are like, oh, but the last 2 chapters are really good. It's like, no, like, the last two chapters had some good moments, but again, like, it just made no fucking sense. Like, Tao Qi, the big-breasted woman, like, she disappeared to help us. Like, we'd never met her or talked to her at all. Tiger Boy appeared to help as well, and yeah, sure, there was a character quest for him, which was, like, ridiculously boring. Like, you made him the character quest that you introduced in 1.0, like... Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who just don't care about the story or don't pay attention to it that much, and it's fun. Like, they do the broad strokes well enough. Like, it's fine. If it's just if it's just the broad strokes of the story, then it's fine. But if you're actually, like, looking, like, if you're actually, like, trying to piece together what the world is about and, like, what's going on, there's just so many details that contradict each other. And I was actually, like, trying to, like, refresh myself on the story, and I was, like, looking up YouTube videos, and there were even other people who were, like, deep diving the details of the YouTube videos, and they were finding the same kind of inconsistencies that I was finding. And I'm just like, yeah, they just don't fucking explain any of this shit. They just dump a shitload of terms on you, and they kind of, like, forget themselves and move on. And so it's just weird. And so, like, people are like, oh, 2.0 is better, 2.0 is amazing, and it's like, I mean, 2.0 is also inconsistent, because you're just like, well, when did the Order form? Because you make it seem like the Dark Tide happened ages ago. Because, like, the Order because, like, it seems like the Order has been around forever. You know, that it's such a huge, powerful figure. Like, there's no way in hell it was created 20 years ago. Like, that's insane. That would be way too much happening in 20 years. So, like, obviously, like, that had to have happened ages ago, and that would be the only reason that they would try to, like, and these were, like, stained glass windows in a destroyed building, right? Like, so it seems like a decrepit building. So unless they like destroyed the building themselves to try to hide it, but then didn't destroy the stained glass completely, like it was weird. So it's like it seemed like the house just collapsed with old age, which means that it would have had to have happened ages ago. But they keep using the dark tide. It's like, yeah, there's just one dark tide, and it's like, yeah, they tried too many things at once. They weren't like consistent in their explanations. Like, I don't know if in Chinese maybe it's better. Like, maybe it was just poorly localized, or maybe in Chinese they did properly differentiate between the dark tides, and we just localized it as like, well, it's dark tide is dark tide. Yeah. I mean, it starts out with like, oh, let's tease, the heavenly ways, and then like, and then there's like the villain of each country. But then, like, we have a little Abyss, we have a little Harbingers, we have a little we have the Conria stuff, like, teasing bits and pieces as we go along. And I think it's done very well because each country is kind of its own self-contained story, but the stuff that happens within that country still does get referenced in other chapters. So it's like, it's not like you just did this and everyone forgot. Like, no, they sometimes will bring it up again and mention stuff, and then bring back characters. Like, another issue with Wuthering Waves is they just like introduce new characters and then just like dump them by the wayside. They're like, oh, cool, here's Cantarella's quest. Okay, now you're never going to see Cantarella again. We're just going to move on to she did her story bit. Now we're just going to move on, and like we don't really, like, in Renacida, we like never interact with any of the people from Jinzo at all. Like, just they have died apparently. Whereas like we have the character quest from here. I mean, right now we have these anecdotes where it's like we're just going over and like meeting all the people we've met before. So it's like it's a lot of new people we've already met recently, but still it's like it's just constantly refreshing us, having us go back. Like the Hexen Circle again popped up again, and it's like, oh wow, cool! Like, you mentioned this before. We've interacted with them before. Alice has pops up once more, just in time for her another Golden Apple Archipelago. They did, like, yeah, basically when we moved from Mondstadt. I think the pacing of stuff was a little slower then. So like, but like no, I mean not really. Because, like, even back then, right? So, like, we go from Mondstadt, we go to Liyue. What was it? We did the Chinese New Year event. For year one, Chinese New Year event took us to Liyue. Then there was the Windbloom Festival. We went back to Mondstadt, interact with Mondstadt characters. Then we went to Inazuma. Now, basically, I mean, every single year they always have a Chinese New Year event. So we're always going back to Liyue. So we're always being brought back to Liyue to interact with those characters. So every year we at least go back to a country that existed since the game was first made. And then every now and then we have a Windbloom related event where we go back. And hell, we just did one where we had Durin again, which brings back Albedo. Like we had a huge Albedo like trial, so we meet all the Mondstadt characters again. So it's like these are characters that were introduced in the very beginning of the game, but we're going back and meeting them again. So like, I think they've done events that where we've gone back and we've interacted with people, like, and we recently had an event in Inazuma, like the Inazuma Festival of some sort. I forget what it was, a Inazuma Yokai Festival, something like that. That was somewhat like a few months ago. So it's like we are going back to these old countries, and hell, like even just the most recent event, where that is still even active, right? The Battle of Imagined Arrays, we're going back to Sumeru. So like they've always been pretty good at bringing us back to old areas to like not really reintroduce, but to like refresh our memory for certain characters. And then of course they've had for the longest time these hangout events where you can get to know the four-star characters even better. Now I'm a little disappointed they haven't had a new hangout event in a while, but like this was fucking amazing as well, where it's like, hey, yeah, like sure, we have character events for every single limited character we have, but pretty much the only time you ever interact with the 4-star characters is when they're part of the story or part of an event, and that's it. So and it's usually not focusing on them, so you usually don't get too much about them. So these hangout events were really fucking cool, in like a visual novel style little thing where it had multiple endings and you could see various aspects of each character. So it is a shame they haven't had more of these. I do wish they would add some more. But the fact that they have them is still really good. And that was introduced in like year 2 or something like that. So it's like they do a pretty good job at having you interact with all their characters. Whereas like Wuthering Waves really doesn't. Like Zani, like we met Zani, like we barely interacted with Zani, and like we have a character cross with her, but like she never really popped up in the story that much after that. Like after we broke into her bank, like that was pretty much like the last we really saw of her. Like she barely pops up, even when we're already in Renacida. Like having us check in with characters in Jinzo would be nice. Like Shorekeeper doesn't say anything. Like no one really like mentions us at all. And I mean, I also have a little personal annoyance, the fact that like we as the main character are just like ridiculously godlike. Like the rover is essentially like we can do everything. Like so many instances have come down to like, oh my god, it's the rover. Oh yeah, guess what? Like everyone wants the rover. Everyone's looking for us. Everyone wants us. And it's like we can do everything. And like everything comes down to like, oh yeah, like it just so happens that we can use this device. Like we're the only person who can use this device. It's like, really, wow, another instance where we're the only person who can do this magical, mystical thing. It's like, it's too heavy-handed for me. I think there are better ways to write it than just, oh yeah, it's because you're the rover, you can do everything. Everything just works out for you. Oh, you need to like use this ancient mystical device that no one has gotten to work in the past 100,000 years. Yeah, you just walk up and touch it. Oh, look, it's working now. Cool. Way too heavy-handed for my sake, for my taste. So, but I mean, I wouldn't say that's super nitpicky. I think that's kind of like, I think that's a pretty valid take. I think it happens just because of poor story writing. Like they just couldn't think of yeah. Like we're special, but like us being a descender doesn't really matter. Like it allows us to use our powers, so we don't have and without using a vision. But like, oh hello there. But like being able to use a vision, or being able to use elemental powers without a vision doesn't really like change us. It's not like we're like super strong. It's not like, oh yeah, we get to. Now there were a few instances in like Sumeru where certain things interacted with us differently, and like how we're able to see Aranara and stuff like that. But like generally, it's like, and even still for like the Aranara, it's not like no one can see them. Children can see them too. So it's like, oh okay, so it's not even like basically there's nothing really the Traveler has done in this game that like other people can't also do. Like yeah, well yeah, our actual character is pretty shit. Which is a shame. I think Wuthering Waves does much better in that regard, where the rover actually feels fun to play and feels strong. But yeah, in this game we're absolute trash. But like using elemental powers, other people can use elemental powers. The only caveat is we can do multiple elemental powers. But like as a sword fighter, we're not like amazing. It's not like we one shot every single thing. Even in the cinematic moments, we're just kind of like just barely beating them. So it's like. We're not like ridiculously strong. There's just been a few like weird interactions, but like I think some of the interactions in Sumeru were just because we weren't connected to the Irminsul, and that created some slight differences. But even then, we aren't the only one that is that. Like we aren't the only descender. We're like the fourth or fifth descender if our brother still counted back then. So we weren't the only descender. We aren't the only people who have visited this planet. So like there's nothing like super special. Like we aren't this Mary Sue who can just like do everything and everyone's just bending over backwards to like be nice to us. In fact, like I think really the only reason, I mean not the only reason, but like the main reason why people are so nice to us and they're so accommodating towards us is because our reputation has preceded us. Like we've done all this shit, and so like people have heard of that and we're like, oh okay, you're that guy, cool. Like generally we come into a place and we're just like, yeah, we're just chilling. We meet some people, maybe we recognize some people, get some help. And it's not like we're like treated super well. It's not like we're not, people aren't bending over backwards for us and stuff like that. Not everyone's clamoring for us. So I think again, it's far more of a grounded character. Whereas in like Wuthering Waves, we're just like, yeah, we're essentially a god. We're essentially a god who can't do anything. Like, yeah, we have these godlike powers. Everyone wants us, but apparently we can't do that in any meaningful way to actually like do anything ourselves. Like we almost got our asses handed to us by the Threnodian. It was only Abby who absorbed its power, but like maybe that's our ability. We have Abby, but like everyone's like bending over backwards. People keep telling us how awesome we are, but like we never ever have instances where we actually are awesome. Like sure, the fight against Cartithia was super cool, but like we still have to do it ourselves. Like there was a few cutscenes where we did some shit, but like we still actually had to fight, and you could still get your ass handed to you. So it's not even like, oh, our godlike superpower was able to just beat the shit out of her instantly. We still actually had to do it ourselves. So it's like we're touted as this amazing person, but we never actually like see any of that, and it's all like this stuff we personally haven't done. Whereas in Genshin, it's like no, like we did this. We rescued Dvalin. We helped out the Knights of Favonius. That's why they recognize us and as an honorary knight because of helping them out with Dvalin. And then we go to Liyue and we meet people as a humble traveler and get to know people and help them out, and and that's why they recognize us and like us. Whereas the Rover is like you just pop up and everyone's clamoring for you. Like the Black Shore people are looking for you. The Fractilius people are looking for you. Yeah, it's just like people keep telling us how we've been living for millennia, and we have the superpower, and we're like really, really strong and stuff. But then it's like, oh yeah, you're really, really strong, but you can't actually like do anything. You're really, really strong, but you can't like exhibit any of your strength in any critical moments. I don't know why this guy showed up. I'm not sure. Did you? It depends when you sent me a request, and also what the request is for. Oh, actually, shit. But I've been streaming for far too long, way longer than I was expecting, so I'm going to have to stop for now. But I will be back on later today to play some Honkai Star Rail. And then, of course, if you're ever interested in hearing me chat about Genshin or Wuthering Waves and all that stuff, I really like stories, and I have a pretty good memory, so I do remember a lot of shit. So I can come up with some cool, interesting takes. But I'm going to go ahead and log out for now. But thank you all for watching. It was lovely chatting with you all, and I will see you all next time.